All right, so now on to the next review topic of our semester. This would be R3. What's going to be happening in this is we're essentially going to be graphing lines and talking about slopes and rates of change. So again, this information can be practiced and reviewed in section R3, but here's how you basically do some of the items on your pretest. So the first one, we're asked to find the slope of the line that passes through the point 2, 3, and 4, 5. I actually believe there's two ways to do this, right? So there's the famous formula way, right? Perhaps you remember slope being m is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. It's essentially your change in y over your change in x. Okay? So all I got to do is decide which one of these points that I want to call first and second. I'll just go in order, right? There's your x1 and y1 and x2 and y2, and just start plugging things in. All right, that's the beauty about a formula. So y2 is 5. We're going to take away y1, which is 3. x2 is 4. We're going to take x1 away, which is 2, right? And we're going to end up with 2 over 2, which simplifies to 1. So this just basically means that for every one step I take in the x direction, I'm going to take one step up in the y direction. And that's the second way to do this. We can actually graph the data points. Since this is all happening in quadrant 1, let me do that. So here's 2, 3, and then here's 4 and 5. So you can literally see as I move from one point to the other, my change in x is equal to 2. I'm going over 2 units to the right, and meanwhile my change in y is also 2. So my slope, being the change in y over the change in x, is again 2 over 2, which is also 1. So I call this the visual counting method, right? And this is basically your slope formula, right? Unfortunately, students like one or the other. You should actually know both, all right? So the more you know, the more you can use, the more problems and the more applications you can do, all righty? So please make sure you know both, although this is the nice famous formula, all right? So number 5. Number 5, believe it or not, is a lot like number 4. It's just wordier. In this case, what we have is in the year 2000, I've got a population of Smallsville, Arizona being 2,150 people. In 2010, the population decreased to 2020. Find the rate of change, all right, of this population. Well, rate of change is just a fancy way of saying slope. All right, so what is the slope of this situation? To make this mirror what we have up here, right, I actually have two data points, right? I have the year 2000 corresponding to the population 2,150. And then in the next data, I have 2010, and that's related to 2020. So one way to approach this problem is to make it look like problem number 4. Just like I had 2 points here, I now have 2 points there. And so how do I find the rate of change or the slope? I can use the same formula, right? So my slope is y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. In this case, my let's call this, here's x1 and y1, x2 and y2. So I'm going to have 2020 minus 2150 all over 2010 minus 2000. So that denominator is pretty easy. It's 10. On the top, let's see, it's gonna be negative, and I have 80 and 50. That's negative 130, I believe. Okay. Again, we have an improper fraction, but we can see that there's a common factor of 10. 10 goes into itself once. 10 goes into that negative 13 times. So we have negative 13 over 1. Which is negative 13. So what this means, since it has some meaning here, we're talking about the population of people per year. So this means that this little town, Smallsville, Arizona, over this stretch, right, from the year 2000 to the year 2010, its population was dropping 13 people per year. All right, so there is a review of what we call slope, both the formula, and then we could have also, if we wanted to, set the data points up in a table, right, and then counted up and down and did some visual counting. But the formula works pretty well there since the numbers are pretty big. All right, so hopefully that jogs some slope of information for you. We've got some more videos coming soon where we actually do more graphing, where we'll make use of this slope to help us out. All right, but for now, that's it for this video, and I will see you in some more pretest videos coming soon. Talk to you later.